Hi, I'm Eric Jorgensen. I'm the Vice President of EMEA for Zendesk. It's transparency for me. I think this is about, I think the financial services industry in general is better at this than other industries, right? We trust our insurance companies and our banks and pension providers, others more because we're putting a significant part of our personal, wealth and trust into these organizations. So I think I'm pleased to hear that 80% or 60% of consumers feel they could, well, lots of people they could do more. It's still better than other industries. So for me, I think that's what we're seeing is that transparency can lead to retention, and the flip side is it can lead to churn. If people, I guess in some ways, if I had an interaction and that resulted in me being offered things that I clearly stated I didn't want to be offered, well, I'd start to erode my trust, and I may well be churning. I think we see something like 75% of organizations think a lack of transparency could increase churn. So we've got to be very, I think, open and aware of the protection our consumers want to enjoy, but also the knock-on risk of, if we don't do that, what that could mean from churn. And I think it's no different in the software industry, but certainly in the financial services industry, retention of customers, long-term customers is very important to sort of shareholder value and future profitability. So keeping a customer happy, retaining them, and then growing with them in an open, transparent way, I think is, again, something we think is achievable and deliverable within this new sort of AI data-driven world. But the flip side is, if you don't do that, we think there is absolutely 75% of organizations think there is a risk of increased churn by not being as clear on that as we need to be. I think AI is able to then look at patterns, look at trends, look at anomalies at scale in such a way that we can flag things. And so in the same way that, things like intent data, so we can look at with AI, like I sent an email, you may send an email, we both might be asking about the same thing, but my email might be a bit more grumpy, right? And the fact that the AI can detect that is really important, because it means that then the agent, or the digital agent or the human agent, can then be sort of made aware of that and treat me accordingly, knowing that I'm already perhaps in a slightly grumpy mood because maybe this is my third time I'm trying to resolve this problem or something like that. But so I think in terms of that transparency, because AI and the ability to search this vast amount of data would allow an institution to prove to me, this is where you reside, this is the sort of journeys you've been on, this is again, that would be very difficult, very manual, very time consuming without AI, but with AI, we can provide more of that transparency to gain that trust and to gain that buy-in. So I think it's the vast volume of data that's been building up over the last few years, combined with AI, gives us that foundational data set and the ability to mine that data in such a way that we can provide that transparency. I think a lot of this is going to just come down to the personalization within these digital agents. I think that's something which, as you say, so only really 26% are close to that. And if I'm honest with you, I think that 26% is probably the smaller, earlier stage organizations. So I think for the larger organizations, because I accept and acknowledge it's a bigger lift to get these things up and running. I think that's the key thing we expect to see in 2024 is that sort of maturing towards a digital agent, not just a chatbot, that will enable them then to build on the sort of the personalization and trust around it. So for me, that's certainly what we're seeing in the report and the trends, and that's certainly something I'm seeing with the customers I interact with.